but you don't deserve this. I will die to beat you.
All right. Be prepared to do that.
Jon Jones! I forgot about that. I'm about to whip your punk. Jon Jones, get together. I'm waiting for you.
Fight fans, welcome back. In a sport so turbulent where commotion equals dollar signs, it's hard for a fighter's life to be anything other than chaos.
Talking of chaos, Jon Jones is about that chaos. That's for sure.
No fucks given.
No fucks.
When it comes to like actual fighting, he's a straight up killer.
However, when controversy hinders progression up the proverbial ladder, we've seen unstoppable champions become their own worst enemy. Despite an unruly private life that has become anything but, Jon Jones is still unrivaled and 12 years unbeaten inside the octagon.
12 years unbeaten. Fuck.
Has he never fought Khabib?
They're different weight classes. They can't fight.
Ah.
They can't fight. They're...
Okay.
Jon Jones is a lightweight. Khabib is a super heavyweight.
Okay.
I'm joking. It's not it.
Though the greatest challenges may still lay ahead. Here we take a look at before and after facing Jon Bones Jones.
When he went for the kill, he never stopped.
Welcome to a Motivedia presentation.
As long as you never quit, it's never over. I'm back here.
Do you see
back,
this
baby.
as sort of, when Mike Tyson sort of came on in his big title fight, he was 20-something years old, kind of around the same age as Jon Jones.
We take a nostalgic trip back to 2011, where a 23-year-old Jon Jones had ripped his way through the roster to become the youngest light heavyweight champion in UFC history.
Imagine getting a spinning elbow.
He loves doing that move, doesn't he?
Yeah, it must do so much damage.
Yeah.
He's definitely ruined a lot of careers. Like, he's destroyed people so bad they don't want to fight again.
I'm just so excited. I'm so grateful for this situation. And I think everything happens for a reason. And I'm not afraid of this moment. I feel as if it's my moment.
You are the new light heavyweight champion and one of the best fighters in the game.
Not only is he the #1 light heavyweight in the world, he just shot right up in the pound for pound category too.
I think we saw a transition tonight, a transition of a new generation of fighter. His skill set is unbelievable.
6 months on, Jones was preparing for his first defense against one of the sharpest tongues in the business.
One of the most dangerous knockout artists in the sport, and a guy with a serious history, with a lot.
He looks like a killer, this guy, though, as well. Jon Jones, we know is a killer, but this dude here, I don't know who he is. Let us know. He looks like he just come out of prison for killing someone with his bare hands.
Does he get his ass whipped, though?
Don't know. He lost the fight. Jon Jones beat
Johnny
him.
Jones.
But I think that's one of his toughest fights, I think.
Lot of experience under his belt.
The build-up for this one was always going to be great.
The last time I had major doubt going into a fight, I would have to say it was when I fought Rampage Jackson.
I'm going to blow him out the water. I'm going to destroy Jon Jones.
Do what you got to do, Rampage. I think you're setting yourself up for failure.
For some reason, he intimidated me.
See, I'll say
he said it himself.
He said it. That's to intimidate Jon Jones. Yeah. That's a big statement.
I'm going to end the fight tomorrow. That's what I told you.
After admitting that Rampage was the last person to genuinely intimidate him, Jones showed us how to conquer fear.
The moment you've all been waiting for.
And with a crunching oblique kick that opened Jackson up, we saw a masterclass of striking and movement.
Simply spectacular.
Actually, I do. I respect him because the kid beat me. You know what I'm saying? He beat me at my best.
That kid is something very special.
And that's something that's rare. Someone admitting, without excuses, without, was feeling off, I had a bad training session before. He fully just accepted that he lost.
Yeah.
No excuses. He beat him. And that I rate.
And he praised him as well.
Rated him as well, yeah.
The torch was passed as Rampage declared himself a Jon Jones believer.
So, but saying that, I don't know. I don't see anybody that can beat Jones, honestly.
I guarantee that on December 10th I'll be very well prepared and I can overcome his athleticism with my technique.
10 weeks later, Jones returned to cap his fourth fight of 2011 against Lyoto Machida.
I think it's the highest blessing to know what you're meant to do in this world. And I believe that I was meant to be a mixed martial artist. So yeah, I'm just telling myself, you know, this is my zone, this is my place, this is my house.
Hey, woke up feeling bloodthirsty. Yeah.
Despite being the resounding favorite, there were plenty of reasons for it to be a tricky fight.
Machida's very defensive and elusive.
I'm ready to remind everyone.
And throws kicks and punches from different angles. This is a fun fight.
The Brazilian had a solid opening round, finding a few openings in a bid to figure Jones out. But a huge overhand right in the second saw the momentum turn.
He always had a mystique about him to me. So once I seen him bleed, it really humanized him big time.
Seconds later, like something out of a movie, onlookers watched Machida's lifeless body drop to the canvas.
Had his neck pretty tight, man. I honestly felt like I could have broken his neck at that time.
You just walked away like ain't no thing. Like it felt like you had a little swag in your step when you walked away there. Just let him fall to the ground.
I want to improve it. I want to be a champion again. The losses teach me a lot, touch me a lot.
Maybe the most emotionally charged fight that I can.
He's battering some good guys though. It's not like these are chumps from their record and from what they're saying. They're all on win streaks. They're at their best. They made Jon Jones' career really hard, man.
And then Johnny Bones comes and...
But you know other people that got big records, they fight chumps and they'll dodge fights and they'll do it strategic like a game of chess. They're literally throwing madness at Jones and he's
battering them.
He's just winning.
Remember,
Jones's next opponent would be Rashad Evans, an old training partner turned rival.
Yeah, woke up feeling like hunting. Feeling like hunting. They all talk, but they're telling me nothing. Yeah.
Despite showing admiration in the build-up, Evans believed that John's attitude would lead to his eventual demise.
You will fall.
Why are you worried about my fall? You're not saying that you're going to make me fall.
I hope you never fall, but you will.
Train with John. I know what John does. I know what his coach is going to tell him to do. You know, I know the whole program.
I feel like I'm just getting started. That's the thing. And you're at the end.
Okay. Am I at the end?
Oh,
Why is that?
Because I said so. Because I want to prove that you.
When they met in the octagon, Jones
Cause I said so, motherfucker. Your career ends tomorrow. Tomorrow.
combined every weapon the human body has, putting on a striking masterclass. Evans' heart dragged him the distance, but he was totally nullified throughout the fight.
Whenever he hit me with something, I was like, man, I don't know how bad that hurt, you know?
The New Yorker was gracious in defeat, praising Jones' creativity, but he...
What happened to knowing his camp, boy? He said he knows everything. I know the program. I know what they're going to do, what they're going to say.
I know what he's going to do to me.
Look what happened.
He got his ass whooped.
They said the same shit with Khabib. He's one-dimensional. I know what to expect. Then
they just still got battered.
It's just mad.
He was never truly the same after his loss.
You know, apart from his troubles outside of the cage and things like that, when it comes down to it, I think that Jon Jones is the best in history.
You know, I'm closing in on Tito Ortiz's all-time great record. I can't put all of that on the line because someone talked about my mama. I gotta freaking think smart here. I gotta think like a warrior, like a strategist, and I gotta think like as a businessman.
Jeez.
When Jones and Dana first bumped heads in August 2012, refusing to replace Dan Henderson at UFC 151.
You being the president of UFC, how does this affect the relationship between yourself and Jon Jones?
When I talk to Dan, I'm going to make sure I'm all stretched out, so if I have to punch him in the face, you know.
It resulted in the first UFC event cancellation.
Pound for pound, one of the best in the world. You should be ready to fight all comers. It's never happened in the history of the sport.
Instead, a month later, it would be Vitor Belfort that would get a shot at Jones.
Oh, heavy kick.
Game, set, match, just like that.
So I think they second guess Vitor's heart. They think that he's not going to go out there and push the fight and make it a fight.
Not just a clown trying to pick up fights, to calling people out, talking BS in the press. I'm a real fighter.
With a trademark crab walk into the fire came another incredibly well-rounded performance.
You know why he done the crab walk? Because apparently this guy who he was fighting, he's good for he's known at knockouts. He's very good at knocking people out. So Jon Jones said in an interview when he was asked why he done the crab walk, he said I was thinking to myself before the fight, what's the worst that can happen? Which in his head, he comes out and he gets knocked out. That's the worst possible thing. So how does he eliminate that?
Crab walk.
Walking like a crab to him, opponent won't know what to do. You can't just...
Yeah.
So he just literally flew outside the box and said, let me cancel the worst case scenario and do this crab walk and bam. And then that's out the picture. Now I can fight. It's clever.
Jones
Strategic,
survived an arm
Like you
bar
said.
Like
to
you said.
dominate Vitor in all areas.
Thanking God that I had gotten out of that armbar, and also thanking God for that.
That's when he got in the arm bar and he lifted the guy. Remember we saw that clip? That was a mad fun. He nearly
that's
broke
some
his
of our
arm.
recent reactions.
Yeah, he nearly broke his arm. So that was a mad fight. So he nearly lost that.
Adversity.
And through one of Bones' toughest fights came another humble ending.
I had my opportunity. I think when I heard pop, I kind of lost the pressure and he got away. And it is what it is, man. You know, I thought I really had their arm, but he fought through it. You know,
yeah,
he did great.
What warrior?
There's a quote that says adversity.
Picked him up with that arm.
He's a teacher of a great general, and I really feel like a stronger young man standing here before you guys today.
John, soon to be former champion, Bones Jones.
Soon to be former champion. Why?
Because he's running headfirst into Chael P. Sonnen, the most dangerous man in the history of time before time was even created.
Where Jones was already turning into a love-hate kind of fighter with the fans, his next opponent, Chael Sonnen, was winning them over with his attitude, his talk, and his willingness to fight anybody.
You not have chills going up your spine?
People kind of accuse me of being afraid, and I mean, Vitor Belfort, in my opinion, is a lot more intimidating than Chael Sonnen.
He will be cornering me on April 27th when I take what is rightfully mine, which is the light heavyweight championship.
First time Jon Jones was asked for this fight, he said no, and there's a reason.
Talking the talk. Is he gonna walk the walk?
Does he walk the walk?
Whilst all credit goes to Chael for stepping up, on the night, every word would come back to haunt him.
Chael is a great fighter, man. He's a great fighter. People are just disregarding him completely, and I'm not.
Don't ask your mom, don't ask your dad. Parental guidance is not needed. You've got permission from the soon-to-be champion Chael Sonnen. Push the buy button, sit down, and witness history.
One more in the win column, and one more for the bad guy.
Jon took him down, smothered him, and unloaded to secure his 5th title defense.
I don't think I've been taken down 3 times in my career. Took me down 3 times in one round.
I was the wrestler. I was the dominant one. That was a good feeling.
Despite the decisive outcome,
He was a very good fighter, and he got buoyed off.
the pair never really buried the hatchet.
Jon Jones, Jon Jones.
I kind of forgive the guy even though he hasn't apologized. It's just who he is.
To beat a guy is one thing. To beat a guy at his own game is a whole nother. He's the best fighter I've ever fought.
Just for me, Jon Jones, winning over Jon Jones is bigger than taking the belt. I'm telling you, that guy is such a beast, and yeah, what was the question?
Alexander Gustafsson has all the skills to go out there and beat.
This is the guy where Jon Jones had bare damage on his face.
Oh.
Do you remember the one fight
yes.
where like raw?
He's
like,
got blood on his face.
he's bruised up and everything.
Jon Jones, he has the size, he has the speed, and he has the knockout power.
They call this guy
Another
the
title
Viking.
defense would set a light heavyweight record.
Will he be a tough challenge? Who knows? Who knows? He could or maybe he won't. I don't know.
And going into his 20th professional contest, Jones was expected to make relatively light work of next in line, Alexander Gustafsson.
I can beat Jon Jones any day.
I'm doing my homework right here, so I'll be ready.
The press conference stare-down set the pace in what would, surprisingly, turn into one of the best collisions in UFC history. Jones invested in damaging the Swede's lead leg, while Gustafsson's effective takedown defense and slick boxing made for an all-out war.
The reality about this fight was everybody's always had problems with Jon Jones' height and reach, and this guy matched him.
Gustafsson took him to the edge of the bridge, and Jon wouldn't allow him to push him off.
His face.
Swelled.
Yeah.
His lip is so swollen, like you can't even recognize him if you saw him the next day.
I think that's the first time he's been
battered.
physically battered in a fight.
And he, like DC said, he got taken to the edge of the bridge, about to be pushed off, and Jon was just somehow hanging on and somehow flipped it on its head and won as well.
A controversial ending for many, but without a doubt, the closest anyone would come to cracking the code.
When you get out of a fight like that where you almost won the title against the greatest of all time, like what is that feeling like?
The fight it's a highlight in my career for sure, in my life for sure.
20-fight win streak just got shattered like that. His mouth guard fell out his mouth. When your mouth guard falls out your mouth, you know you got a problem.
Definitely a problem.
That's something Mike Tyson used to do to people.
I like how humble Jon Jones always is with his opponents. They're like, yeah, I'm going to whoop his ass. He's like, yeah, I'm sure he's a really good fighter.
Yeah. Like when he does his own ones. Unless they're talking trash in his face, he shows them respect.
Yeah.
But this certainly wouldn't be the last we'd see of the Brazilian.
What would you do differently if you got another shot at Jon Bones Jones?
And we keep going. And if I do Jon Jones, I'm gonna come after his head.
When you fought Chael Sonnen, you beat him at...
I think he needs to focus on keeping his mouth guard in his mouth.
That shit fell out of ease.
That's what he needs to focus on.
It's so true.
His game, you beat Glover Teixeira tonight at his game. Is that something that you challenge yourself with?
Though, what the Teixeira fight lacked in pre-fight animosity would be regained in Jones's next collision.
So focus on recovery and having fun with my family, and then who I'll fight next will be, up in the air.
No matter where you go, boy, I'm coming. If I decide to take Jon Jones down 100 times, I'll take him down 100 times. This is my octagon. I'm the man. You know what, man? I'm just going to stay undefeated. You know, it's very telling that these people cheer for me and they don't even like me. They just hate Jon Jones. I'm going to push that man to a place that he's never been in his entire life, and I will make Jon Jones quit. I can't.
DC.
Undefeated Daniel DC Cormier.
You're an idiot.
It was always going to be good. But in what was a ticking time bomb from the offset,
He's not going to come in there and try and bully me. That's not going to happen.
fight fans would witness one of the most intense buildups in UFC history.
And you know what's going to be this year's sad reality is that everything in your power will not be enough because I'm still going to beat you.
Don't run from me, little guy. I'm ready. The more you weigh Jon Jones, the worse it's going to get because I'm going to continue to get better.
Hey, are you still there? You're the scum of the earth. You are a terrible human being, but you can sure turn it on.
The fight
Their rivalry was pretty mad, I can't lie. They had a big boy rivalry.
itself was a masterclass in how to break your opponents physically and
Boss and Jon won. That's pretty much all it boils down to. It doesn't matter if it's closer or if it's... And you know what?
Everyone he's beaten has just accepted that he's the better guy in that fight.
I wonder what Khabib said to DC after that fight.
They probably
brother, why no slap?
What happened?
What happened? Why no slap?
Man, the guy just he got better and he won the fight.
You know, if you look at any sport going back to, football, it's technically mental warfare. It's just an opposing team trying to score. It's just like the movie Troy. My best guy versus your best guy and see what happens at the end. That's my mentality. I'm Achilles.
after 15 months out, Jones returned against powerful and unorthodox Haitian American Ovin St. Preux.
What's his biggest weakness? What's the hole that you're going to exploit on Saturday?
There is
This
no
time,
weakness.
Jones didn't even get out of first gear, picking off his opponent at will and slamming him all over the octagon. Technique-wise, this made for one of Jones's most airtight performances.
He did a really good job. Big, strong kid, heavy hands, and hats off to him. And was a total gentleman in defeat. So, yeah, I'm a fan.
It could be a blessing or whatnot. I definitely wanted to actually put myself in position to actually fight him again if I could. But
you know, when they lose these fights, yeah, imagine being in their shoes and just that night going to bed. All that's going to be thinking in their head is what I could have done better. Or why did I do that? Oh, when he done this, I should have, like...
100%.
Like, their head just for at least another week.
It's a big match. Week, I think even longer than that. Of course.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, they got a good paycheck, but legacy is very important as well.
But I think, again, it's a wake-up call for them as well. Like you said, the other guy was on a 20-win streak.
20 wins. Fuck.
20 wins. Jon Jones beat him. So in his head, it's thinking, raw, like... There's someone out there that can actually beat me.
That could be motivation to get better. rather than thinking I'm just battering everyone and it's too easy.
But anytime soon.
Devastating news for Jon Jones.
Jon Jones getting himself into more hot water.
Star fighter Jon Bones Jones.
Jon Bones Jones is suspected of running from a crash where a pregnant woman suffered a broken arm.
I really don't know what to say. I'm really sorry about this happening.
Hey, I'm not crying. I'm just sober. For more than 5 months.
Good for you.
Staring at Jon Jones. Watch out here.
It was always too close and too good for them not to run it back.
It's exciting, but it's real. With you guys, it's 100% real.
Labeled as bitter rivals, the second chapter came another 12 months on, following a second drugs ban and more extracurricular controversy.
He has you crying. He's still playing. His eyes are flickering everywhere. He's blowing kisses. I'm not playing anymore.
I know the path to victory, and I also have been in there with him. There's nothing he can do to hurt me. I will make the changes necessary to get the job done. Okay.
He did. You know what's the beauty in me being the competitor I am? I forgot about that. I'm about to whip your punk ass.
Your punk ass, boy.
Despite neutralizing the oblique kicks and forcing pressure,
these oblique kicks that Jon Jones does, though, they fucked up. And he always does it in the beginning, because if he hits it right, the whole fight, they're fucked. It's a good strategy, man.
Cormier was never allowed to find a rhythm.
At the same time, I fear no man, but I strike for a reason when I strike.
Instead, caught by a huge roundhouse head kick in the third, he was rocked and put away decisively.
And then he got the head kick, which, changed the whole fight. If that head kick hadn't landed, we could have had a really classic fight.
I think that as time passes, things kind of go away. We seem to be on different paths, obviously. That being said, friendship would be very difficult for us to achieve because of our history.
Like you said, till this day, this is probably like months after, still thinking and talking about it because it's just such a big thing.
He's never beat Jon Jones, has he?
So they fought twice, he lost both times. So he lost the first time, Jon Jones was champion, but then Jon Jones got banned for drugs and whatever.
Then he went and got the belt.
He got the belt, he was champion for a while. And then he was confident that he's going to smack up Jon Jones if he ever comes back. Hence why he was talking all that trash. Came back after years, like a year or two, whatever. And beat him. Yeah. And bear in mind, Jon Jones wasn't fighting all that time. Yeah. So then he just went back into training.
And I'm okay with that. I've always said that. We don't have to be friends.
Unfortunately, I came into this game at a young age with big ideas. And despite how good of a person he is, there's no mercy in combat.
In yet another twist, the bout was declared a no contest a month later when Jones failed a third test.
And I'm glad you're here, DC, because Jon Jones tested positive for turinabol from a sample the day before your guys' fight, of course.
With his license revoked in February.
So he was actually on the drugs before their fight. So technically he won while having those drugs, hence why they ruled it a no contest, which is really fucked because those kind of drugs, they're like enhancing drugs for combat. So if he's enhancing himself, the amount of damage you can do to someone that's normal.
We saw a video prior to this as well where their whole family were failing drug tests as well, wasn't it? The brothers.
Yeah, so Jon Jones failed the drug test, and within that same 6 months, his
the brother who plays football.
Yeah, professional football players, brothers, 2 of them.
Yeah.
Failed drug tests as well. So maybe they were all like kind of just knew about this drug and how to dodge the system in a way, but then it bit them in the ass in the long run.
Wow.
2018, it was another 16-month layoff for Bones.
16
Though, just like last time, he would hit the ground running to give the fans what they wanted. A rematch against Gustafsson at UFC 232.
I mean, whatever this guy is saying, you can't take it serious. You can't take it serious at all. He's just terrible. He is terrible.
Who has more pressure on his shoulders going into this fight? Jones with all the controversy, or Gus, who is trying to be the first man to defeat him?
I believe he's nervous. I believe that he's a lot of proof in this fight.
Fans hoped for another battle of attrition, but dismantling the Swede both on foot and on the mat, Jones showed why he is the best in the business.
He knew exactly what to do to stop my footwork and stop my movement and my flow, my distance, and so he just made sure I couldn't move anymore. That was it.
I changed it up and
his face is clean this time around. He's like, I'm making sure my face ain't getting
because that first fight, his face got mashed up.
His face is.
Yeah.
His face looked like a potato last fight.
kind of Gustafsson. I did the running, I did the backing away.
and it worked out.
We did our best there in the octagon, and this was the outcome. So
He looks like he's wearing a bloody pirate eye patch. His eye is ruined.
you just have to take it. Take it like a man.
Good words.
He's undefeated. He's beaten every fucking human being he's ever competed against in real life.
After such a convincing demolition path, the list of potential threats at light heavy was ever dwindling.
I believe that this is my era. I believe that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. I believe that I'm only getting better, and I will defeat whoever I have to defeat.
John, what do you have planned in July? He's a better martial artist and I'm a better fighter. If he doesn't agree with me, I challenge him to come on Saturday and let's find out who the better fighter is.
And so, opening 2019, there was little resistance expected from Jones's next opponent.
If you think you better than battle,
Anthony Lionheart Smith.
I think that I have the answer, I really do, or I wouldn't be here. You know, I'm not just coming in to hang out and fight. I'm gonna fight the way I would normally fight. I'm gonna attack him from bell to bell. I'm gonna be in his face, and if he can deal with that, then props to him, but I don't think he can.
I take Anthony Smith extremely serious. He has 40 fights. He has double the experience I have, and we're gonna treat him like that type of person.
give us your thoughts on what tomorrow night means.
Jon Jones is very good at not underestimating his opponent. That's why he's winning these fights.
Everything to me, this is what I've been working for. I promise you guys, whatever it costs, whatever it takes, I'm still f***ing coming.
The Nebraskan showed early that he'd come to fight, though he was overwhelmed, like all those who went before him, by clinical striking and a highlight reel body slam.
You see, he throws a lot of everything, man. But he fucks you up. He's so good at keeping guys in the back foot.
Once again, Jones reigned supreme, taking a lopsided victory.
I think it goes back to his fight IQ. He's smart. You know, he made a lot of good decisions in there. I hate to just say it, he's long. He's hard to get to.
I felt most people would have freaked out, and he kept his composure. He did a really great job.
Again, I'm not going to give John a pass. I think he has used PDs in the past, but I think that right now he's a clean fighter.
If you think you better than battle,
Bones would keep the momentum in 2019, fighting twice in 1 year for the first time since 2013. This time, he returned against a man with one-punch stopping power, Thiago Santos.
was one of the craziest knockouts you will see in this sport.
Will be a great night tomorrow. I will do my best, and I will shock the world.
Every UFC fight I've ever fought is hard to knock me out. It's about being, skilled enough to land the punch.
He's got a mad forehammer. Just what a tattoo that is, isn't it? Fucking hell.
It's to represent the punches.
To represent hammer punches.
Thus far, no one's been skilled enough to land that punch, and I don't believe anything's going to change on Saturday night.
He has 2 legs, 2 arms, so one body for me in my front. I will break him.
The Brazilian opened well, winning some of the early exchanges. However, after landing awkwardly on his plant leg in the second, it became an uphill battle.
Bothered my fights. Everybody saw I did everything I could, fighting on a bum knee, and I fought the whole fight like that.
He's a tough guy. Something happened to his knee or his leg. I don't know exactly what in the second round, and he fought through it and was tough, but he lost that fight.
I think I was starting to become impressed with myself, and when you have matches like this, it's humbling. It reminds you that you need to always come up with new tricks.
If you think you...
Do you think if he didn't injure his knee...
It's hard to say. I think Jon Jones would have still beat him.
Yeah.
As good as that guy may have been, he's got something where he could adapt to his fighters as the fight goes. And he's just too versatile. So I feel like, he might have shown that he had potential in the first round where he won a couple of the exchanges, but I don't think it would have been enough
to win the fight.
Nah, that's my opinion.
better than battle.
Ignorance, that ignorant bliss. He couldn't be beat. He didn't believe he can be beat.
I think your chances of beating Jon Jones drop the more time you spend standing in front of him.
Yeah.
Because I just think he downloads your movement pattern.
That's it. Exactly.
The last time Jones graced the octagon before he started piling on the pounds for his heavyweight crusade, we saw Dominic Reyes rise to the rank of light heavyweight title challenger. Though the champion wasn't impressed.
It's all like another day at the office for me at this point.
This is 9 to 5. Okay, just go to work. I'm gonna smash this guy in his face, knock him out, and go back to sleep.
Also familiar, you know. It's almost too comfortable in this space. I would appreciate being a little more nervous.
You know, for the casual fans, they don't realize how good Dominic Reyes really is and what a huge threat he is to Jon Jones.
Bro, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you, Dominic.
All right, we'll see. You have to put me down, Jones. I'm not stopping. I can go all day out here. Let's go.
I can just tell already he's gonna get battered.
Yep.
He's just come up a weight as well. He's getting battered.
The old Stockton proverb goes, I'm not surprised.
Like the Santos fight, Jones was given plenty to think about early on.
Fair enough.
Landing some of the cleaner and more consistent shots in the eyes of the judges, Bones once again chipped away to take another dangerously close W.
My very first time winning 5 rounds in my entire career against Jon Jones, who is arguably the greatest of all time, and I put it on him.
I embraced the grind, I embraced the suck, and I was just a little bit more tough than he was.
Despite ongoing antics, the world of mixed martial arts still holds its breath to see whether or not Jones's new king-size frame can cut it on Killer's Row.
Jones is definitely one of those guys that raises to the level of his opponent. You throw a killer in there with Jon Jones, Jones fights like a killer.
One thing about Jon Jones, I think that he has a strong mind, and whatever he puts his mind to, he can do it.
He's always returned before, but in the land of the giants, every fight is just one clean shot away from a knockout.
So he moved up
slow
to
down
heavyweight.
You gotta wonder how much of that
And he
slowing
won that
down is
fight
his
as well.
enthusiasm, how much of it is physical.
So whilst Jones will be the biggest he's ever been, his margin for error will undoubtedly be the smallest.
He beat that guy.
I mean, maybe if a big fight comes up like a Stipe Miocic fight, or Francis.